Hi there. My name is Suze, and I work with women to help them find balance between their internal masculine and feminine energies so that they can have lives that feel really emotionally fulfilling, full of love and connection. So, today I want to kind of continue a conversation I started several videos ago and talk to women who are really coming into a space where they really understand they want to be in connection in relationship with a man who's really in his masculine energy, right? And I know for me in my journey and my story, coming to that realization was interesting for me. Right, like I feel like there's always this part in feminine women, there's always this part of us throughout our lives, no matter what your story is, where you have this secret little longing to feel like a man really cherishes you and is willing to kind of pursue you or chase you. I don't really like those words, but you know what I mean when I say them. And there's this innate desire to have a man really come after you and show you how much you mean to him, kind of a thing. And to have that really masculine presence and the masculine leading the relationship, clear about where he wants the relationship to go, clear about being committed to the relationship and the dynamic. There's this desire for that masculinity to kind of come in and, take charge in a way, in a healthy way. Um, just lead the relationship and kind of again that chasing and pursuing. And so clearly I did already talk about that. I forget exactly what I titled the video, but it was basically to the effect of why men aren't chasing you. And I want to continue that conversation in a more feminine frame and talk to women who are looking to attract in a man who is in his masculine energy, or also some little twists and tips that I can give women who are in relationship who wish to inspire and draw out more masculine energy from the man they're already in a committed relationship with. So, because it's really basically kind of the same, whether you're in a relationship or not, it's all just energy. So, if you shift your approach to energy or you shift the energetic state that you are in, it's naturally going to create shifts outside of you in dynamics, outside of you, relationships, even romantic relationships, friendships, business partnerships, whatever the dynamic is, it's going to shift outside of you as well. So, if you are wanting to, first of all, attract in a masculine man, it's going to require you to really get into a different state of being out there in the world. And for myself and for a lot of women that I've worked with, this switch right here is kind of feels like the hardest, most challenging switch. And then once you get into this groove, then it kind of starts to get a little bit easier. But you're going to have to really start leaning back a whole lot more. And in our world, in our society in general, there's still a big emphasis on women's empowerment, which clearly I am all for women's empowerment. My entire message is to empower women. However, the path that is presented as the path of women's empowerment most of the time in our society is in a very masculine structure. And it is very much of, if you like a guy, you certainly can call him and text him and ask him out on a date or initiate conversation. Yes, you absolutely certainly can. You absolutely can. Sorry, got a hair in my mouth. My cat just walked by and I think she blew some fur in my way. Yes, you can absolutely do that. And I have done that many times in my past. However, that was me and my masculine. So it's never going to draw in a masculine man to me. This is basic energetic law. If you want a masculine man, you are going to have to go deeper into your feminine state to attract in the masculine man. I had this one coach who I worked with years ago who had a really great way of explaining it. It's like a magnet. It's like a magnet. A magnet has a plus side and a negative side, right? Batteries too, for that matter. Anything with electrical type currents, anything with currents, right? There's a plus side and there's a negative side. The plus side is actually your masculine energy. The negative side is your feminine energy. The plus and the negative ends attract to each other. If you take two magnets with the opposing poles and put them together, it will stick. The plus and the minus stick, attract in together. If you take the plus side of a magnet and the plus side of another magnet and try to put them together, there's a repelling. Same thing with two negative poles. This is what's happening in relationship. The plus end is the masculine, the negative is the feminine. So if you want to attract in a masculine man, you're going to have to stop doing things in the masculine way as a woman. So you're going to have to let go of a lot of these ideas of women's empowerment being that, you can go ahead and do all these things just like a man. Yes, you absolutely can, but it's not going to give you what you want if you're also telling me that you want a masculine man. So you're going to have to let the man initiate, particularly more in the very beginning. In the very beginning, you're going to have to lean back and surrender into receiving from the man. I also work with a lot of women in relationships when they're trying to really work out some things in relationship and make things move and grow in a specific direction. And it's very, very, very challenging, if not impossible. I don't like to use that word, but it's very, very challenging to shift the energetics of a relationship if it starts in a particular way. Okay? So what I mean is, if you're the woman who goes after the guy in the beginning and initiates and chases him and sets up all the dates and plans and controls and pushes for all the things and does all the phone calls and does all the texting and does all the initiating of the dates, it's going to be a lot harder for you to shift later. So it's a lot easier to start this right out of the gate in the feminine leaned back stance and allowing the guy to take the lead. So what this means when you're out in public, back when I was single and I was in this state of being very clear that I wanted to attract in a masculine man and deciding I was going to do it all very differently, I decided personally for myself, I wanted to meet someone organically out in life. I decided I didn't really want to do, dating apps or anything like that. No judgment on anyone who chooses to do that. If that's what works for you, great, go with it. But for me personally, that just didn't seem aligned with what I wanted. And so I was all about seeing who I could meet out in the world, just me living my life. And being in a space of recognizing I want to attract in a masculine man, that then shifted my attention to, I'm not going to initiate anything with any guy. I'm going to wait. Sorry, my cat's back. I'm going to wait for a man to initiate something with me. I want a man to see me. I want a man to approach me. I want a man to lead this thing right out of the gate. The cool thing about this too is that you can eliminate a lot of guys if you get into that state too. And that's what women, I think, are missing out on. I think that when they recognize they're going to have to start leaning back and stop doing and initiating and pushing all these things, there's a fear that you're going to lose your power. There's a fear that you're now subservient, right? And you're in that space of being like a doormat and at a man's mercy and a man has all the power. And that's not true. And I'll get more into that later on another video. Not at all true. But there has to be a shift of understanding. It's not that the men have all the power, it's that you're requiring them to, in a way, prove themselves a lot sooner out of the gate. You know what you want. And so if a man isn't willing to step into that groove right out of the gate, you can eliminate so much more and stop wasting your time with men who are not right for you. That's really the big thing here. We got to get more clear on what we want and align with that. And then it weeds out so much of this extra worry and emotional energy and mental energy that we're just spinning around, questioning ourselves or doubting the relationship or wondering if this guy, whatever, when it's like if you have it all clear in the very beginning, you can move through these things really quickly. The cool thing as well, if you are in a feminine state of attracting in a masculine man, and you're in that awareness, that mental state of awareness that I'm letting the guy show me right in the beginning where he's at in his life, in his energy, in his masculinity. I'm going to let him show me right out of the gate. And you quickly recognize when someone isn't for you and you release them and then you move on. It's really cool how you'll start to see manifestation working for you, and how the next guy that will come in will be a slight step up and closer to what you're energetically looking for than the previous one was. And if you decide, nope, that one's not measuring up, I will release that, the next one that comes in will be another step up closer to what you energetically know you want. So I feel like I'm telling myself, I think I need to do a video on that about knowing what you want, because it's all about the energies and it isn't all about like, the things on paper, right? It's the energies that you want. So anyway, back to the subject today. If you want a more masculine man, you're going to have to stop doing all the things and leading, and you're going to have to start waiting. I don't like that word. I did another video about that. Feminine energy does not wait. But I'm using that word here so that you understand what I'm saying. This is one of those moments where English really frustrates me, you guys, because the English words don't fully encapsulate the energies that I'm trying to tell you about. And that's why sometimes these videos get really wordy. I'm just going to throw this out there because I've had some comments from some people. The English language does not have words that specifically express the energetic states of being that I am trying to give to anyone who's listening. And so sometimes it may take me a bit to explain where I'm trying to go, because one particular word has connotations of energies that I don't necessarily agree with. Okay? That being said, if you want to attract a masculine man, it's going to feel like, in the beginning, it's going to feel like you're waiting, because you're not going to be texting and calling all the time, and you're going to be waiting for him to initiate. However, if the idea of waiting feels disempowering to you, and I agree it does, I would highly recommend you watch my video about the feminine does not wait. Because it is not actually a waiting that you're doing here. It just may first feel like you're waiting around, but that's not what you're actually doing. So lean back and let him take the lead. Let him show you right out of the gate if he's ready to come towards you. I've talked about anxious attachment styles and anxiety tips for dealing with anxiety. I've talked about that in other videos. And this is where that really comes into play. The reason why we get stuck into this anxious attachment is because energetically at your core, you're wanting to feel this masculine energy coming towards you. And that's where women get in trouble. You want to feel masculine energy coming towards you, giving to you, showing up for you, providing for you. And so in that interim of waiting for the masculine to show up in that way, that's where a lot of anxiety and stuff can start bubbling up. So that's then the work of calming down and learning how to deal with that anxiety. I promise you I am going to do a video at some point around anxious attachment style. But this is really the first core piece of attracting in a masculine man is you got to get yourself in the space of being soft, of stopping controlling, of stopping when you're having those freak out moments of reaching out and trying to make something happen with a man. Stop doing that. Let him lead. Let him show you. Don't rush anything. Let it move organically. Let him show you what he can provide. You decide if that's enough or what you want to be provided with. And you simply lean back in relaxation and receive and observe what he's willing to give you or how he's able to show up. Something I do with clients too, I'm going to just really quickly, briefly mention this here. Something else I do with clients when they are in committed relationships and they're really desiring to have men show up more masculinely. This is for the second group of you. If you're already in a committed relationship and you desire a little bit more masculinity out of your man, give him the space to do that. So, what I mean is, try this experiment on. I'm all about experimenting. I've talked before about human design. I am a projector with a 3-5 profile. So, in other words, my best way to learn is through experimentation because I love to observe and learn. So, one thing I often have my clients do, and it's very revealing to them and how it feels, and the end result is really magical. If you're in a committed relationship and you desire to feel your man coming towards you energetically with that masculine energy a little bit more, I would really recommend for like a week. Don't be the one to reach out and text, right? Like when he's not with you, right? Don't be the one reaching out. Don't be the one initiating conversation all the time. Don't be the one calling. Give him space to show up and call you or text you or initiate whatever with you, and just see what happens. You know, the feminine energy and masculine energy, women and men, move at very different rates, and we have different energetic core needs and urges. And these differences cause a lot of misunderstanding around timing and how things should go relationally. And if women just gave men more space to step into, everyone would be happier. Women would feel better too. It's like you want them to do this thing, but you're not giving him the space to actually step into it. So that's all I'm going to say for today. I hope this video helped you guys. If you did find value in this, please do like and subscribe to this video so that more people can see this and I can have greater visibility on YouTube and spreading my message and my passion. I hope you have a beautiful day. Bye-bye for now.